The man with no name. Danger fits him like a tight black glove. He is perhaps the most dangerous man who ever lived.
Get 3 coffins ready.
Played by Clint Eastwood. He's going to trigger a whole new style in adventure. A Fistful of Dollars is the first motion picture of its kind. It won't be the last.
It certainly won't be. So good afternoon to everyone. At least it is afternoon for me, as well as it is for my friends in the UK. It's high noon now in the UK. Well, it will be in 3 minutes. But yes, welcome to this live watch party and commentary of A Fistful of Dollars. After this, we are going to do For a Few Dollars More. And we will conclude this epic Sunday, of course, with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, I'm fully on board here, as you can see, fully dressed for the occasion. So we are, first and foremost, we're going to put the comments on stage. There we go. Then we are going to pull up some of the comments that have already come in. So I wasn't expecting too many people to come in, as it is a Sunday and it's very early for these streams. Usually we do these in the evening. But greetings, Andy. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. And thank you, Dave, for being here. Dave is prepared. Dave has sent me a picture. He's got his whole fridge filled with some snacks and food and beverages, whatever. I've got a few bits to help me through this day, but it's going to be mostly during the intermissions where it's going to come in handy. So I'm going to quickly add the TV page, and we're going to, of course, make that smaller. Yeah, let's go for that. That's the format that usually works. So I have done my research. I've prepared stacks of notes on these films, on the actors, on the behind the scenes, variations. I can refer to my Spaghetti Western book as well for some of the bits. So we are going to do this properly. We're going to actually, discuss some of the finer points of these films. Let me actually quickly already get prepared and have a quick sip of something here to wet the old whistle. Speaking of whistle, of course, we're going to hear some whistling in a bit from the awesome main theme by Ennio Morricone coming up for this film. Now, the first time I watched this film was actually on television. And I actually do know the exact date of when that was as well. Oh, the clock is striking. That means it's time to start the film. So let's go ahead and do that. So if everybody is ready, we are going to start Fistful of Dollars in 3, 2, and 1. We are watching, I should say, as we are hitting play, the Arrow Video newly released 4K edition of Fistful of Dollars. Anyway, the film is starting, as you can see there. And right away we start, excuse me, with the awesome Ennio Morricone opening track. Let me actually put my lovely slipcover back on my Arrow Video edition. There you go. For me, I think so it is, yeah. So, let me refer to my notes. Speaking of Ennio Morricone, as we are hearing his music first here, this is, aside from the awesome opening credits that we see here, which are very much like the 007 opening credits, very much inspired, I guess, by the Maurice Binder opening titles. But no, Ennio Morricone, this is not his first Western score, contrary to what people might think. He did an Italian Western before this in the year 1963. It was Gunfight at Red Sands, which I do have on Blu-ray. It's a Richard Harrison spaghetti Western, very American feeling. And the same year as this, he would also do the music for Bullets Don't Argue, which I do have the CD soundtrack for that one. It was made alongside this film, interestingly, by the same production company, Jolly Films, by producers Pappy and Colombo. Now, they considered that film, Bullets Don't Argue to be the more successful, and they had more faith in that film than they had in this one. Obviously, Fate had other ideas as to which film would be more successful. Of course, Morricone would go on to compose every single Sergio Leone film after this. This is the first collaboration. Of course, For a Few Dollars More, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Once Upon a Time in the West, Docu-Soccer, aka Fistful of Dynamite, aka Once Upon a Time in the Revolution, and of course concluding with Sergio Leone's last masterpiece, which is Once Upon a Time in America. Sadly, his last epic before his untimely demise. Now, Morricone also composed the music for dozens of other spaghetti westerns. These include A Pistol for Ringo and The Return of Ringo from 1965, Fortune Gold, The Hills Run Red, Navajo Joe, and Seven Guns to the McGregor from 1966. The Big Gun Down, Death Rides a Horse, Face to Face, The Hellbenders Up the McGregors, or Seven Women for the McGregors from 1967. The Great Silence, Euro-Western Guns for San Sebastian, The Mercenary, Sky Full Stars for a Roof, and The Peppa from 1968. The Five-Man Army from 1969, Compañeros from 1970, Sonny and Jet, The Return of Clint the Stranger, Life is Tough, A Providence, and What Am I Doing in the Middle of the Revolution from 1972. Here We Go Again, A Providence, and My Name is Nobody, 1973, and For a Genius, Two Partners and a Dupe from 1975. So those are Morricone's other Western, spaghetti Western credits we did the music for. Here, of course, is our first introduction to Clint Eastwood as Joe, or as the United Artists would like to call him, the man with no name. I've got a big Western book, just found the entry for this movie. Okay, that's awesome. That's so Dave has some insight as well, maybe. That's cool. Afternoon, Josh. Yes, we are doing well, my friend. We've just started the film. Here's the little kid with the annoyingly dubbed voice in the English version. I'm guessing he is annoying in the Italian version as well. But yes, speaking of Clint Eastwood, indeed, yes, he was not the first choice for this one. Yes, I do have that on my notes as well. The Man with No Name, Joe, original choices, Henry Fonda, Charles Bronson, James Coburn, and also the aforementioned Richard Harrison, who was already doing westerns in Italy. Now, Clint Eastwood, of course, he was starring in the TV series Rawhide. He's done that for a few years at this point. He would still do that after this film for a few years. His contract with Rawhide did not allow him to do films in America during his off time on Rawhide. But the contract said nothing about doing films in Europe. So Clint Eastwood jumped at the opportunity to do this. He only got a $15,000 salary for this one, though. He would get increasingly much more, of course, with each subsequent film. But when Clint Eastwood says in this film, I don't work cheap, well, for this one, he did work cheap. I mean, considering, if I got paid $15,000 for a job, I would be happy, but, you know. Now, you can see there is awesome costume, of course, the hat, the poncho. The poncho was Sergio's idea. Clint Eastwood did bring some props with him. I do see all the guys' comments. I will get to them. But no, Clint Eastwood brought his own kind of props from Rawhide. He brought his Rawhide gun belt. So the gun belt he's wearing is the one that he wore on Rawhide. The rattlesnake grips on the Colt 45, those were from Rawhide. His boots and spurs, I think he brought those along as well. And he also bought a pair of black jeans from a Hollywood shop. So that's the jeans that he's wearing throughout this trilogy. And yeah, Sergio picked up the poncho in Spain on location, because these films are shot in Spain, as most of you will know. Yes, Josh has arrived. Well, it will be 3 separate streams, but it will be the longest consecutive streaming in a single day that I've done. Let's put it that way, with 30 minutes in intervals in between. Yes, thank you, Josh. Yes, I do try, even though my makeshift neckerchief has already let loose. We'll fix that in a minute. So yeah, Clint is now riding into town here on his little mule. I did forget to talk about Mario Brega, who we did see briefly there in the opening bit. The big, heavy son of a bitch who's there to my left or right, depending on how you look at it. Now, Mario Brega, he appeared in all 3 of the trilogy films, so we'll get plenty of opportunities to mention him. He missed Once Upon a Time in the West and Docu-Soccer, but he did also appear, which a lot of people don't know because he looks very different. He did also appear in Once Upon a Time in America. Now, his other Euro-Western appearances, he's done a few before this one. He's in Buffalo Bill, Hero of the Wild West, and 2 Gangsters in the Wild West from 1964. And, of course, this one in 64 as well. Then he would go on to be in A Few Dollars More, The Bounty Killer, or The Ugly Ones from 1966, as well as The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Then from 1967, he appeared in Death Rides a Horse and The Greatest Robbery in the West. He appeared in The Great Silence and A Minute to Pray and A Second to Die, and A Name That Cried Revenge from 1968. He also appeared in El Toro, No Room to Die in 1969. He then appeared in 1971's Finders Killers, 1973's My Name is Nobody, and 1975's A Genius, Two Partners, and a Dupe. Hey, that's my first page already covered. There you go. So the next one I got to talk about is Mariana Koch, the woman in this film. But we're going to wait till we get a close-up of her. She also did appear in the opening scene, but we're going to wait till she gets back on screen again. Between Ride and this, how many billions of people must have seen that gun belt? Yes, that gun belt is famous. I think he even wears that same gun belt in High Plains Drifter. It has the same pattern and the same look anyway, so at least that's what I've noticed. So, of course, this is the famous opening right here where he rides into town and the guys are laughing at him and, hey, stranger, it's not wise to be wandering so far from home. I actually should put on the captions because I got the sound turned down. So I'm going to quickly turn on the English subtitles. So at least, there we go. I can follow along with the dialogue. Yeah, that gun belt got around. And for that matter, so did the boots and spurs. There's a character we can talk about. Jose Calvo, aka Papi Calvo, here as the bartender Silvanito. I'm gonna have to skip a page to get to his bio. Well, that's what we try to do. We try to make these educational as well as entertaining, of course. So yeah, for Jose Calvo, I went straight to my Spaghetti Westerns book for this. Jose Calvo, Papi Calvo here as Silvanito, the bartender. This is from the book Any Gun Can Play by Kevin Grant. After studying medicine, Calvo turned to acting, beginning on the stage. The role of the world-weary Silvanito and Fistful of Dollars showed him in a sympathetic light, I should say. But he was comfortable in all kinds of parts and personalities. He was a stubbornly vengeful, murderous patriarch, for example, in Why Go On Killing from 1965. And his Euro-Western credits include The Coyote from 1955, Two Against All from 1962, Gunfighter Red Sands from 1963, Fistful of Dollars, of course, 64. Then he was in The Cold Shadow, The Man from Oklahoma, and Why Go On Killing in 1965. He was in Fort Yuma Gold, Legacy of the Incas, Renegade Gunfighter from 1966, and Day of Anger from 1967. He was also in A Stranger in Paso Bravo from 1968, The Price of Power and Twice of Judas from 1969. And in 1971, he did his last two Euro Westerns, Dead Man Ride and In the Dust of the Sun. Now, he was born in 1916 and he passed away in 1980. So that's the bio for Papi Calvo or Jose Calvo. Thank you. Cheers, guys. Appreciate it. Mike Barrett has a question. Would you say this is the quintessential spaghetti western? Yes, I would definitely say so. I mean, without this, obviously, we would not have the other two. If this one wasn't successful, we would not have the other two classics. The spaghetti western boom, as it was known, wouldn't really have started. I mean, obviously, a lot of people do think that this is the very first spaghetti western. Now, that's not true. Of course, there were a handful of Euro westerns, spaghetti westerns, made before Fistful of Dollars. But they were mostly sort of like cheap knockoffs of American westerns, whereas with this one, with Fistful of Dollars, Sergio Leone really introduced a style to it, and all the others followed suit. Even other spaghetti western directors like Sergio Corbucci, he did a few westerns before Sergio Leone made one. Corbucci did Massacre Grand Canyon and Minnesota Clay before Leone hit it big with Fistful of Dollars. But definitely all the other spaghetti westerns followed suit after this one. There would not be a Django without Fistful of Dollars. There would not be, any of the 150 spaghetti westerns I have there in my collection. Let's put it that way. The spaghetti western boom would not have happened in the big way that it did. Now here we do have another actor coming up that I do want to give a bio about. But we're going to get there. Any famous scene where he says, my mule don't like people laughing. Gets the crazy idea laughing at him. First, we do have this introduction here to the two gangs, and where Papi Calvo is telling Clint, there's the Baxters and there's the Rojos. On either side of the town, there's the two gangs. Of course, Clint goes, Baxter's over there. Rose there, and me right in the middle. And that's when he forms a plan. Now, we should mention, of course, the setup for this is very much inspired, pretty much copied from Yojimbo, the Akira Kurosawa film Yojimbo. Unofficially. Now, Sergio Leone apparently saw that film. He was really, really impressed with it and enamored by it. And he was like, well, that would make for a great Western, that story. So he just made the film, and he probably had no idea that this film would be successful. He probably thought he could get away with it. But as soon as Mr. Kurosawa saw this film, he was like, Mr. Leone, this is a good film that you've made, but sadly it's my film. So that got him into a lot of legal trouble. And it actually ended up being Akira Kurosawa who actually got the distribution rights for the film in Japan and all the Oriental markets, I guess, if you want to call it that. All the Asian-speaking territories. And fun fact, Akira Kurosawa actually made much more of this film than he ever did from his own films. He made much more from Fistful of Dollars than he did from his own films. That's the source for that is Christopher Frayling, who was the biographer for Sergio Leone. Yes, I do, Andy. You must have missed my $150 spaghetti western ranking. I did a ranking of all 150 in my collection. Yeah, here we go. Here's Clint's Don Miguel. I might just be available, but I don't work cheap. Well, considering Clint got paid $15,000 for this film, he did work cheap for this one. Mike Barrett, hey guys, this is going to be epic. Been a long time since I watched the Dollars films all back to back. Yeah, I don't think I've watched them back to back in a while. I mean, obviously now with the awesome Arrow releases, I watched Fistful when it came out on 4K by Arrow. I watched for a few dollars more, and obviously there were some months in between. So now I'm watching all three on the Arrow editions back to back. Yeah, that's it's gonna be awesome. Here, get 3 coffins ready, the famous line, which of course gets a great punchline at the end of the scene where he miscounted and it's actually 4 coffins. Yes. Hey, Gareth is here. How many dollars in the fistful? Depends on the size of your fist, I guess. But anyway, here's the guy that I do want to give a spotlight. It's the guy that spits at Clint here. Lorenzo Robaldo is his name. Probably butchered his name. Go get your mule. Did you let him get away from you? That guy, that's Lorenzo Robledo. He's been in tons of spaghetti westerns. He either played usually a gunman, a villain, or a victim, and had some memorable gruesome death scenes, most notably at the hands of Gian Maria Volante in Face to Face and Thomas Milian in The Four of the Apocalypse. Now, his Euro Western credits are vast. He's appeared in The Shadow of Zorro from 1962, The Magnificent Three from 1963, Billy the Kid and Fistful of Dollars from 1964, as well as $5,000 on the Ace, Seven Guns from Texas, Seven from Texas, Tomb of the Pistolero. He's been in Black Eagles of Santa Fe for a few dollars more, Hands of a Gunfighter, Last of the Mohicans, The Relentless Four, 7 Hours of Gunfire, For Juma Gold, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Navajo Joe, A Taste for Killing, The Big Gun Down, Face to Face, Bury Them Deep, Cowards Don't Pray, A Minute to Pray and a Second to Die. He's also in Once Upon a Time in the West, One Against One, No Mercy, The Mercenary, $3 A Train for Durango, Cemetery Without Crosses, Garingo, The Price of Power, Vengeance is Mine, Clumsy Hands, Compañeros, Viva Zapata, Cutthroats 9, an infamous Spanish gore western. Oh, here is a cool shot where Eastwood shoots all 4 of them in a single shot, the camera focusing on his gun. That's an awesome shot. Hands Up Dead Man, You're Under Arrest, In the Dust of the Sun, Kill Django Kill. Kill Django Kill First, rather. Long Live Your Death, Prey of Vultures, Fast Hand Is Still My Name, The Four of the Apocalypse, and his final Euro Western credit is The White, the Yellow, and the Black. So that's Lorenzo Robaldo. Again, I'll probably butcher his name. I have great memories of my dad letting me stay up late one night to watch this, as he knew how much I love Clint Eastwood movies. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's the first time I watched it. Again, I have the exact date, actually. I took a screenshot from a Dutch website. It was August 7th in 2010 at 10:40 p.m. on the Dutch TV station RTL7. Now, this is a Dutch website that actually keeps track of when the film was on TV. That's when I first saw it, and the first film, and the film that played before that was Open Range. So I saw those 2 westerns on that same evening. That's the evening that made me a western fan. or a fan of these Western films. It was on television. Let's see, Gaza's in the house. Thought y'all. Yeah, there's a lot of titles. Yeah. Now this actor here who plays kind of I think he's the older brother of the Rojo brothers. I think he's supposed to be the oldest. He hasn't done many other Euro westerns. I couldn't find too much about him. I think he passed away as well. I think a year after this film, or 2 years after this film. So he didn't do a lot of Euro westerns, but he's great in this film as well. He has a great face. There's a great face in this one. I do have notes on the other Rojo brother before we get to obviously Gian Maria Volante. Yeah, indeed. I was wondering like exactly when it was, but yeah, I did a little bit of digging and I found the exact broadcasting time. So yeah, that was August. What was it? 27th? What we said? August 7th in 2010. So that's 15 years ago now. I would have been 13. Yeah, in my early teens. Here's Marianne Koch. Now I can't get back to her as she's on screen here. Marianne Koch, the only female in this film. Now Marianne Koch, German. She's a German actress. She came from a medical background, and she actually retired from acting back into the medical field as a doctor. She's still alive. She's probably the only living cast member of this film as of now. Her other Euro-Western appearances are The Last Ride to Santa Cruz from '64, A Place Called Glory in 1965, Who Killed Johnny Ringo in 1966, and Clint the Stranger in 1967. Yeah, she's still alive, so that's Marianne Koch. Got through a few notes already. There we go, a few pages. Yes, RTL. Yeah, that is the exact same channel that also hosts a lot of the Steven Seagal movies. Yes, I think they actually had a Steven Seagal on just the other day. So yeah. Now here's the other Rojo brother that I do have a bio on. Sieghard Rupp, another German actor. Well, to be more specific, Austrian actor. He was born in Bregenz, Austria in 1931. Now, the book that I got the information from did not list his death date, but he has passed away since now. Anyway, the bio for him says, with his dark Latin features, Rupp was a perfect fit for sneering villainous supporting roles in early Western and crime films. His best-known part was that of the slow-witted but dashing and cruel Esteban Rojo in Fistful of Dollars, who gleefully shoots down... Oh, that's a spoiler. Let's not read that at this point. Anyway, his Euro-Western credits include Among Vultures from 1964, as well as, of course, Fistful of Dollars, and The Last Ride to Santa Cruz. In 1965, he appeared in The Man Called Gringo. In 1966, he appeared in Blooded Sundown and Who Killed Johnny Ringo, and those are his Euro-Western credits, and that's the bio on Sieghard Rupp. All right, the next one I got is Gian Maria Volante, but we still got a few minutes to go before his character's introduced. So, yes, the bartender did have a few more credits. Let me actually, instead of going back to the notes, let's go to my book where I got this information from. Pepe Calvo. I shouldn't make bookmarks in the book, but I don't want to. Anyway, where is he? That's Antonio Casas. We'll get to him in The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. That's not him. There's Pepe Calvo, yeah. He passed away in 1980. He was born in 1916 and he passed away in 1980. So that's for Jose Calvo, yeah. It's still going to be a while before we are going to be introduced to Gian Maria Volante. So I guess we'll have a few minutes to just to shoot the shit a little bit. I feel like there must be other Western trilogies, but I can't. Oh, that's a good point, actually. Yes, there's the Cavalry trilogy with John Wayne, the John Ford, John Wayne cavalry trilogy with Fort Broad. No, what's the fucking title for that one? I know the second one is She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, and you have Rio Grande as the third one. Fort Grant? I know what's the first one. Somebody will tell me. I know there's more Western fans here, but no, there is the Cavalry trilogy with John Wayne. I actually do. Actually picked up the last one in that trilogy on Blu-ray just the other day, as well as the She Wore a Yellow Ribbon from Germany. Now the first one is with Henry Fonda and John Wayne, but I forget the exact title. Fort something. Why am I actually struggling? I actually have access to the internet. Cavalry trilogy. John Ford's. There, Fort Apache. That's it. I could not find the. So that's an unofficial Western trilogy. Fort Apache, She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, and Rio Grande with John Wayne, directed by John Ford. So that's a trilogy. But other than that, I can't. I can't think of it. Well, I try. I figured not many people would have tuned into this one as such early hours, especially if you're from America. I think I think it's 4 a.m. Eastern and 7 or 8 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah. 1980. Yeah. Yes, thank you. It was Fort Apache. Yes, so Fort Apache, She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, and Rio Grande. And then, of course, yes, there is also the Stranger films, the Stranger spaghetti westerns. I can pull those out. Well, the first two anyway. But you have a Stranger in Town with Tony Anthony, and then you have The Stranger Returns with Tony Anthony, and then there is a third one called The Silent Stranger. So that's another trilogy, and it's also spaghetti westerns. There is technically a fourth one as well, but let's not get into that one. Are you on Gareth's James Bond stream on Monday? Am I? No, yes, I definitely will be. Would not be a party if I wasn't there for 007. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be there. I missed the last few. I know. I missed the last two Bond watch parties with Gareth, but this one I'm going to definitely be there. I'm definitely off work on Monday. I've got nothing else to do. So yeah, it's nothing stands in the way on my end anyway. So yeah. Here we have the awesome. I hear the. I hope the whistling isn't too distorted when it comes up on the audio, but I love the whistling theme in this one. Yeah, no worries, Dave. So yeah, there is that trilogy, and again the Stranger films. I do recommend the Stranger films. They're pretty awesome spaghetti westerns, and those do have nice covers. Now those for the DVDs. The Blu-rays are kind of, I don't know, they're still cool, but not as cool as those DVDs in my opinion. But I wonder where he got the inspiration to wear that outfit that he's wearing. Again, this is a film that is very much after Fistful of Dollars, which is Stranger in Town. This was a highly influential film in all aspects. Speaking of cavalry, here we have the gang dressed up as cavalrymen, and this is the. Is this the first instance of a machine gun in a major motion picture? No way, I don't think it is, but it's definitely one of the most memorable ones, even though all the people being shot here, there's not a single drop of blood, which does kind of, I don't know, kind of dates the film. Probably is the only thing that for me that dates the film, is the fact that all these people are being mowed down here by the machine gun, and not a single drop of blood. Now, before we get to the Gian Maria Volante bio, the machine gun that he's wearing is a bit of trivia. The machine gun that he's shooting, I should say. That's actually the same prop machine gun that was also used by Franco Nero in the original 1966 classic Django. So the machine gun that he's firing right here, that's the same one that pops up in Django, where Franco Nero just uses it as a portable weapon of mass destruction. But yeah, that's anyway. Do they have bank holidays in the No, we don't. Yeah, I mean, we do have public holidays and stuff, which I think is what the bank holidays are for the large part, right? But no, they're not bank holiday, and not as often, not as often, not as often. Hey, Marty is here. Bronson, you sexy bastard. Sunday's supposed to be a day of rest. Well, it's a bank holiday weekend, so, you know, why not have a little bit of Clint to liven up the day. Anyway, now that we do have Gian Maria Volante here on screen and prominently, now this guy, great Italian actor, he's been in tons of Italian films, he's been in tons of crime films and more political films. He was a very conservative, not conservative, very communist, leaning, in terms of his politics, left wing. But obviously, and that did influence some of his film choices because he went in to do some very political films. But his other Euro-Western appearances, of course, he appeared in For a Few Dollars More, which we will see later on. He appeared in the spaghetti Western A Bullet for the General, or Quien Sabe. And he also appeared in Sergio Slima's Face to Face, which is a great spaghetti Western. His voice is dubbed by Bernard Grant, who also dubbed Volante for the sequel, as well as dubbing the Union captain in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and also Mr. Morn in Once Upon a Time in the West. So his voice is a voice that you will hear a lot if you watch these spaghetti Westerns, which is the English dubber Bernard Grant. So that's Gian Maria Volante. I do have a little bit of a bio still for him. I did not copy the full bio for him. I wonder if he appears under the M or under the V. Let's see, where's Gian Maria Volante? Guess he appears under the M because I got here Lee Van Cleef, but no. Gian Maria, where are you? Yeah, this is his big scene now with Clint coming up here. Never rests. If he's not doing live streams, we'll find him in the gym. That is true, but not in the weekend. The weekend are my my relaxing days, even from the gym. Let's see. I guess I cannot find a bio so quickly now for Gian Maria Volante. I do have the bio for some of the other characters, of course, but this is the one time zone that is actually Matthew is here from Australia. Hey, Matthew, it's 8:59 at night in South Australia. It's early. I can watch this on TV. There you go. I finally caught Matthew on a time where he can actually attend the stream and watch it. So usually when I do these, it's in the morning for him, and now it's the opposite. It's in the afternoon for me, and it's in the evening for him. So awesome, Matthew. Thanks for being here. Well, no, Gian Maria Volante, he's a great actor, Italian actor. He's been in a few. I've seen him in a few other non-Western films as well. Some of the more political films, some of the Eurocrime films and stuff. But yeah, he's great. I think he appeared in the Elio Petri film. I think that's probably his most famous work outside of these films. He appeared in Investigation of a Citizen Above Suspicion, Elio Petri's film, which is a very, very high artsy-fartsy Italian film that got a lot of praise. I think that won the Oscar for Best Foreign Film, actually, when that came out. So that was a big deal. Now here we have a shot of all three of them, and then we also have Mario Brega. Now I did forget to mention Mario Brega. We have him standing there in the background. Let me actually go back to my book again. I'm pretty sure I do have the bio for Mario Brega. I sure do. There he is. So Mario Brega, the big guy here, he was born in Italy, 1923. And he passed away in 1994. He's another member of Leone's stock company. This heavyweight actor made an imposing villain. He was particularly nasty in the Dollars movies. His Sergeant Wallace, dispensing one of the genre's most vicious beatings to Eli Wallach in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. According to Giulio Petroni, who directed him in Death Rides a Horse, Brega's off-screen personality was almost as unappealing. Quote unquote, he was a typical Roman bully, rough and rude and full of himself. So apparently he was not the nicest guy to be around, but he did make for a great villain in these films. And again, a massive amount of credits to the Euro-Western genre for him. He appeared in Buffalo Bill, Hero of the Far West from 1964, as well as this one, and also Two Gangsters in the Wild West from 64. Of course, then he would go on to be in For a Few Dollars More. 1966, he was in Bounty Killer and The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Death Rides. Oh, wait a minute. I think I did his bio already, because I'm reading these titles. I've already read these titles. I've already did Mario Brega. So, if you guys want the Mario Brega bio, go back to the beginning, because I already covered that. I had a strange sense of deja vu as I was reading those credits. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, just thanks for being there, Matthew. One of my friends at college really liked spaghetti westerns. All these names you're mentioning, I can picture him saying them also. Yeah, there's a lot of fans for spaghetti westerns. Obviously, it is a popular subgenre. It's getting more and more popular. It's it became more and more popular over the last few years, especially with all these great physical media releases that are now out there for these westerns. Marty, I'm probably going to get killed for hearsay. While I love the Dollars trilogy, my favorite western of Leone has to be Sucker, aka Fistful of Dynamite. I adore that, and Once Upon a Time in America. Hey, there's no shame in that. I mean, I love that film as well, Sucker. It's not my favorite, but I can get it. I mean, every Leone film, in my opinion, is pretty much a masterpiece, so I get it. I will not argue anyone for their favorite Leone choices. I will not argue if anyone says that Fistful is their favorite. I will not argue if anyone says For a Few Dollars More is their favorite. Or indeed The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, Once Upon a Time in the West, Fistful of Dynamite, or Once Upon a Time in America. I mean, they're all masterpieces, so that's, to each their own. I mean, they're all great films. So here we have Spanish actress, hang on, I've got her name down. If I can't find that. Where's the rest of my notes? I'm missing a page from my notes. Yes. No, I have her. So yeah, the actress that just appeared, she's the I guess the matriarch of the Baxter gang, Margarita Lozano. Now she is dubbed. I do got a fun fact about her. She hasn't appeared in too many other spaghetti westerns, but she was dubbed by Joyce Gordon, who was the wife of Bernard Grant, who dubbed Gian Maria Volante for this film. And she frequently dubbed plenty of spaghetti western women. Most notably, she was the voice of Claudia Cardinale in Once Upon a Time in the West. So if you listen to the voice here, and you listen to Claudia Cardinale, you will see it's the same voice. Next actor I got to talk about is Benito Stefanelli, but we're going to wait till he gets a close-up at least. Andy Phillips also watched Jeff's streams on my living room TV. It seems so normal now, but back in the day, watching YouTube on TV was just a pipe dream. Yes, that is. I usually watch when I can. I watch the streams on TV as well. Usually when Gareth doesn't, I'm at work, so I gotta watch them on the phone on the go. But when I'm at home relaxing, yeah, I also put these on television as well. Have you seen the original Wild Wild West? It makes the Will Smith one looks like a documentary. The television show? No, I have not actually seen that. The only TV show from the 50s and stuff that I actually have is Rawhide with Clint Eastwood. So I gotta get into my classic American television westerns. But no, I have not seen the original Wild Wild West. Always watching on my phone. I should jump over TV. Well, yeah, you would have more detail, yeah. There are a few good ones. There's actually a very good spaghetti western documentary, which let me see if I actually can find that. I will drop the link for it. There is a good spaghetti western documentary that is on YouTube as well. Hang on. Yes, it is still on YouTube, so I will share that in the live chat. If I can find my own live chat, that is. Ah, there it is. No, no, not that one. Come on. Oh, shit. And it should be in there now. So that's a very good spaghetti western documentary. I do recommend that one. So save it for later, watch later, whatever, and have at it. That's a good spaghetti western documentary. Now, since I've only just pretty much woke up about an hour before this film, I also have a little bit of energy drink with me too. Got a few cans of these, so yeah. Not quite Red Bull, but still, they'll do. Awesome. You're welcome. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I'm going to talk about that actor next. There we go. Yeah, I do like this moment. There is a good moment of suspense when Clint Eastwood puts his hand on Margarita Lozano's once. Don't worry, I'm not gonna hurt you. I just want you to know why Rojos want to make peace all of a sudden. Now, one thing I did notice, especially here with the jump of quality in the 4K, but I noticed it way back on DVD. The interior scenes when Clint Eastwood is in the interior. Obviously, the interiors were probably shot in a studio at Rome, at Cinecittà Studios. The interior scenes, Clint Eastwood, his beard is much more, much less, I should say, much more of just a slight stubble than there's a full beard. Seems like he's had a trim here for the interior scenes, and then when you get to the outdoor scenes, the beard is back in full effect again. But as you see right there, now it's an outdoor shot. The beard is back, but inside it looks just like a mere slight stubble, like he had a shave. But yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much his defining characteristic in this film. Gian Maria Volante, he calls for Rubio, and then Rubio throws in the Winchester rifle. And of course, as we all know, he has a famous proverb that he spouts throughout the film. You know, when a man with a 45 meets a man with a rifle, the man with the pistol is a dead man. Obviously, that comes back to bite him in the ass by the end of the film, but now this is obviously day for night photography right there. Now this was a very low budget Western, like I said. This wasn't a high budgeted Italian film by any means. Clint Eastwood only got $15,000. In total, I think the budget was about $200,000, which really was not a lot in those days. It's not even a lot in these days for a film. You would barely get a scene for $200,000 these days in a film. But there's a lot of day for night photography in this film. A lot of scenes where that's kind of a telling sign that this is an older film where they use day for night, and especially sign that it's a bit of a cheaper film. They couldn't really afford to shoot during actual nighttime. Although, having said that, this little bit here with Clint Eastwood here climbing over the wall, this looks like they might have actually shot this at nighttime. And this is Clint Eastwood doing his own stunts as well. That's Clint climbing on there from the horse. Now that actually does look like nighttime, or they just really did a good job at the restoration and they really captured the day for night photography well there. But is there any actor or director you wish had made a Western? I always wish Tobe Hooper had made one. Well, he probably would not fit in a Western, but of course, I would always, I would love to have seen Al Pacino appear in some form in a Western. Again, he probably would not be the good fit for it, but hey, Dustin Hoffman did one with a Little Big Man, so you know, there's always, I guess, there could always be a story around why there's an Italian American in the West, or you know, I don't know. Yeah, I guess you know Al Pacino would be. I don't know. I don't know if he would look good on a horse, but you know, I've never seen it, so I can't really judge. So yeah, Pacino would be. Um, I can tell you of a pipe dream of mine. I wish that there would have been a Western with Clint Eastwood and Charles Bronson. I wish the two of them would have done a film together. The closest we got is an episode of Rawhide, of course, where there's an episode of Rawhide that Charles Bronson guest starred on. And there's a little frame where both of them are in together, but that's about it. They really didn't have any big scenes or anything together. I do like this bit here where Mario Brega gets fooled into being knocked out here. There's actually a little good action scene that's coming up here with the shootout between the Baxters and the Rojos. I must say that Arrow did a great job with these day for night sequences. Actually, now on the DVD that I had, it looked, you know, pretty off. On my German Blu-ray that I have, that I still have, because yeah, that's a good point. Previous editions, I did bring some of them. On the German Blu-ray that I had before, the day for night sequences, they were very, very dark. They really blackened the screen for those, well, for that release. But here it's still, you know, it still looks like night. There's, I don't know, there's just the right amount of darkness, I guess, and the right amount of blue tones. But yeah, it's tricky day for night. Is that Spaghetti Western doc that has Sergio Capucci interviewed? I think that's included in it. Yes, that's included. Yeah. And yeah, that's the exact. Yeah, on your next film, Mr. Capucci, what are you going to do? A Western, naturally. Yeah. There's some foreshadowing here with the barrel at the top of the ramp here, which of course will come into play much later on in the film. Are there any recent Westerns you've enjoyed? Well, define recent, because I mean I do love the Tarantino ones, Django Unchained and The Hateful Eight. I watched one for the podcast not too long ago with Gina Carano, Terror at the Prairie. I enjoyed that film. I think that's from 2022, if I'm not mistaken, so that's a recent one. I'm still waiting for Cynthia Rothrock's Black Creek to be officially released here in the Netherlands, so I can watch that. I mean, there's a few. There's a few. If we're talking about the last 20 years or so, Open Range is my probably my favorite, with Kevin Costner and Robert Duvall. I love that film. Yeah, there's a few. Mostly, yeah. 90% I enjoy the ones from the 60s and 70s and stuff, but yeah, there's definitely some good modern ones, and there's some good ones before the 60s. I mean, there's some good ones from the 50s and 40s. There's pretty much always a good Western every decade, so yeah. Or a few. And some of the shots here look very dark and stuff. Like, yeah, again, with the day for night photography, they did a good job here with the transfer. Arrow Video should be applauded for their efforts here on all three of these films, because they've never looked and sounded this good. I mean, again, I have the previous DVD and Blu-ray to compare it to, so yeah, it's night and day. Even some of the shots here, like some of the shots here on the DVD and Blu-ray, they had some like in-camera scratches and stuff. Gone. It's like, yeah, the damage has been restored, and so they've done a great job in restoring the print here. I like this shot of, yeah. That's one thing I do love, especially about these spaghetti westerns, is the gunshot sound effects. Like, they don't use those gunshot sound effects in American Western. They did not use them before or not after. They're unique to the Italian Westerns, the gunshot sound effects, and I love them. You know, those high-pitched, they almost sound like a cannon, you know, just very amplified gunshot sound effects. I don't know, it's one of the things that really makes the spaghetti westerns, you know, unique and stuff, and it's just another one of the factors that I just absolutely love about these films. Now this shot right here when he's jumping behind a rock and there's a lot of gunfire, that used to be like very scratchy, very, you know, damaged in all the other prints that we had before. Yeah, it looks clean now. Yeah, a great job on this. Here, of course, a little bit of a comedic moment coming up. Well, sort of irony. Yeah, I guess Clint finds what he's looking for here in this barrel. Ah, yes, a little bit of gold, I guess. A fistful of gold, pardon the pun. Yeah, but then Clint hears some footsteps. I do like how Clint plays this moment. Like, obviously, it's probably not a moment that would fly well in today's cinema. There we go. He just punches out Marianne Koch. But I do love his little annoyed look. It's like, right there. I don't know, I do like that moment. A little bit of, you know, dry, you know, black humor. Then the return of the Rojos. Now I could talk about one of the Rojo gang members. Now one of the Rojo gang members, he doesn't really get a lot of close-ups or stuff, is Aldo Sombrell. Aldo Sombrell, big character actor. I will go more into detail when we get to For a Few Dollars More, because he has a much bigger role in that one. But another one of the Rojo gang members is, there he is, Benito Stefanelli. Now, let's see. Oh, yes, there he is. Yeah. He's the one, he actually plays Rubio in this one. He's the one that constantly throws in the rifle. Now, Benito Stefanelli, he's a legend in these spaghetti westerns. When we get to his credits right here, I'm gonna need more water because yeah. But no, he's a stuntman. He was born in 1928. He passed away in 1999. And his bio goes: a skillful stunt coordinator or master of arms, and hardly and supporting actor. With ever-present bushy sideburns and beard, he introduced the idea of bodies spinning around when shot, as when Henry Fonda's outgunned Once Upon a Time in the West, for example. And what's this? Designed the dramatic knife versus pistol duel at the end of The Big Gun Down. So his Euro Western credits go from 1959, so there's a few there, okay. He was an actor in the film The Sheriff from 1959. He appeared in The Terror of Oklahoma as an actor and also The Master of Arms. He did Zorro and the Three Musketeers as an actor, Fistful of Dollars as an actor and also stunt coordinator, Massacre at Grand Canyon as an actor and Master of Arms, For a Few Dollars More as an actor, $1 Silver as an actor, For Juma Gold as an actor and also Master of Arms, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly as an actor. He did $100,000 for Lassiter as an actor, The Big Gun Down as an actor and also for Stunts, Day of Anger as an actor, Gentleman Killer as an actor, The Hellbenders as an actor, Kill the Wicked, Wanted. He did stunts for that one as well. Then he did Once Upon a Time in the West. He also did stunts for Once Upon a Time in the West. He did Sky Full of Stars for a Roof. He was an actor and also Master of Arms in that one. Two Pistols and a Coward as an actor. He was in Cemetery Without Crosses as an actor. Night of the Serpents, The Price of Power, also Master of Arms. Fistful of Dynamite, he did stunts on that film. Man Called Django, he was the actor there. Trinity Is Still My Name as an actor. Reason to Live, Reason to Die as an actor. My Name Is Nobody, actor and also Master of Arms. 1975, Genius, Two Partners and a Dupe, actor and Master of Arms. White Fang to the Rescue, actor and also stunt coordinator. And 1977's Al Macho as an actor. So that's Benito Stefanelli. And he's going to get a close-up in this scene, so that's good. So I can pull him up. But anyway, skip one. Sorry about that, Dave. There we go. Love the Western arcade game Gunsmoke. Yes, I do believe I saw you post something on that, or I saw something of it. Yeah, that's I'm familiar with. I never played it myself though, but ordered a recent Western DVD called Sweet Vengeance. Heard it was brutal. I think it's from 2014. Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out then. What's that? Sweet Vengeance. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, there's Benito there on the horse to the left. Hang on. Got one more actor to talk about. He's going to appear here in a minute as well. Now that's the thing that's always striking about Sergio Leone, like the huge close-ups, the huge close-ups, and then the widescreen shots, and pretty much every shot of every frame of a Leone film is almost like a painting. It's and that's a cool shot of Gian Maria Volante right there when he cocks the Winchester and the camera pans to him. It's I love that shot. Now here's the annoying little kid again. Where is she? You said I could see her. I want to see her. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the voice. It's probably a mature, grown-up woman doing the voice of the kid, but yeah. Anyway, the dad here, now that he's on screen, is he gonna get a close-up? He's gonna get a close-up in a bit. Let's talk about him, because the dad is played by, aka the husband of Marianne Koch. He's played by Daniel Martin. Now, Daniel Martin, or Daniel Martin, did a lot of Euro westerns as well. He was born in Spain, 1935, and he passed away in 2009. Beginning on the stage, he switched to the big screen in the early 60s and played many supporting roles in westerns and other commercial films. He was Marisol's bullied husband in Fistful of Dollars. And his Euro Western credits include Gunfighter Red Sands from 1963, Fistful of Dollars 64, Last of the Mohicans 1965, The Last Tomahawk 1965, and also The Man Called Gringo from 65. In 1966, he appeared in Seven Guns for Timothy. In 1968, he appeared in A Minute to Pray and A Second to Die. In 1971, he appeared in Bad Man's River, and also Dead Man Ride and Let's Go and Kill Sartana. In 1972, he appeared in The Fat Brothers of Trinity, The Return of Clint the Stranger, and Too Much Gold for One Gringo, and also Watch Out Gringo, Sabata Will Return. And in 1973, he appeared in White Fang by Lucio Fulci. In 1974, he appeared in Blood River. 1975, he did Capola Cold, which is known as Cry Onion, which is not a good western. Valley of the Dancing Widows, sorry. And then we have two more credits. 1978, La Ciudad Maldita. Yeah, probably butchered that. And 1984's Yellow Hair and the Fortress of Gold, which I've not seen. That's probably a very, very late, cheap Euro Western. So I've covered all the actors I wanted to talk about in Fistful of Dollars. So yeah, there you go. It still amazes me that they can film westerns in the environment and the heat. Yeah, and these films are all shot in Spain, like I mentioned earlier, in Almeria, Spain, which is very much very much down in the south of Spain, southern Spain. Now, for the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, they shot in Almeria and also more up north in Spain, near Burgos, which is very near Madrid, if I'm not mistaken. But we're going to get there when we, of course, get to the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Now, that's a good close-up there, or a good shot of Benito Stefanelli on the horse. I think we just missed it. Yeah, we missed it. So that guy on the horse right there, that's Benito Stefanelli. So just for those of you guys who want to put a face to the name, there you go. I do love that close-up of Marianne Koch, which I gotta be honest, a little too much mascara for me. I mean, not really period accurate, I think, right? I don't think the makeup was that advanced in the 1800s yet, so yeah. You get that kid home where he belongs. Yeah, the kid, I don't think he did any other films. I couldn't really find too much about the kid actor in this film. I have a little bit of bio on the kid actor and For a Few Dollars More that we see, but not on this one. I think this is also the first time in the film we hear that Morricone trumpet theme in this one, the Gayo theme. Yeah, that's another good point. Yes, the soundtrack. There are some fantastic soundtrack releases for this film. this is my own personal copy right here. Per un pugno di dollari, of course, the Italian title for this film, which actually translates to for a handful of dollars. So it doesn't translate to fistful. That's of course something that sounds much better than a handful. More action oriented, of course. I also have some information to pull out from my Arrow video booklet for the film. Now, of course, the film was released, and we know it all as Fistful of Dollars. But the working title for this one was Il Magnifico Straniero, The Magnificent Stranger, and also Ray Al Magnifico, Magnificent Ray, and also Texas Joe. Now, of course, these are some of the titles that they also had while filming. So if you look at the behind the scenes on the Arrow video, there's some outtakes. You see on the clapperboards, you see Magnificent Ray, Magnificent Stranger, Stranero. It was only in post-production, was only just as the film was about to be released in Italy when they changed it to Per un pugno di dollari. So Clint Eastwood did not know about the title change. He kept hearing that there was this film doing a lot of good business, Fistful of Dollars. He was like, well, that's great, but it's got nothing to do with me. But then somebody pointed out, no, Clint, that's your film. That's Magnificent Stranger. So yeah, nobody bothered to inform Clint Eastwood about the title change. Now, the original release date for this was September the 12th in 1964 in Italy, in Super Cinema Florence, Italy. It was released on March 5th, 1965 in West Germany. It was released September 27, 1965 in Spain. And the US got it in January 18th, 1967. And the UK had to wait until June 11th, 1967 for this film to be released. Of course, a lot of that has to do with the copyright drama with Yojimbo and the Japanese rights holders. But yeah, the original title for this was The Magnificent Stranger, which I guess would have been a little bit of a cash-in on The Magnificent Seven, because that was a big popular film, of course, around this time. That was a big Western, classic American Western, which was an official remake of a Kurosawa film. So yeah, that comes back around again. Yeah, Harry just threw that little proverb, you know, when a man with a 45 meets a man with a rifle, a man with a pistol will be a dead man. Oh, I totally forgot to read this one. They do sometimes get women to do young boy voices. Bart Simpson, yeah, that's a famous example indeed. Yes, she does a lot of the voices on The Simpsons. Actually, is the one that does Bart Simpson. I think she also does Ralph and Nelson and stuff. So yeah, that does work for the animated stuff. But yeah. Yeah, there you go. Learn something new. We try to be educational as well. You heard Ramon? Let's have a good time. So yeah, this is we got Clint Eastwood singing here. It's 2 p.m. right now over here. Clint Eastwood singing "Hiking Betsy from Pike." I can't sing like Clint Eastwood. Interesting that it came out in December. That seems rare for some reason. Yeah, I think a lot of these westerns were released. I think a lot of the Leone ones. That's the release date for them is like late in the year. I mean, it was the '60s, so at different times anyway. I mean, they didn't really have the summer blockbuster thing yet. I think that came with Jaws and stuff, right? I think Jaws was the first summer blockbuster, and of course, you know, later on you would have stuff like Star Wars and stuff that were really. But it's the same with the 007 films, with the Bond films. They were always released around November time, October, November. The same story with those. This is great day frame. This almost looks like it actually is nighttime, but I still can see a little bit of the blue filter applied. So yeah, they're not fooling me 100%, but it looks very dark here. So good job on this. It's looking way more bluer on the screen right there. I'm noticing. That's one of my favorite films, The Black Hole, came on in December. There you go. Yeah. So that's another thing with spaghetti westerns is a lot of Roman Catholic iconography, right? Now, the woman's name in this is Marisol. The little boy's name is Jesus. And I think the name for the dad is Julio, which you could make that into Joseph. So we have Joseph, Mary, and Jesus. Yeah, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. So there's a lot of Roman Catholic iconography in these spaghetti westerns, as these were, of course, films made by Roman Catholics, and targeted towards a Roman Catholic audience. So the audience in Italy would have definitely have picked up on these very overt, iconography bits. This is a cool scene here with Clint Eastwood shooting down all the guys in a small house. And I especially love that one kill where we actually do see a little bit of blood, and it's all in one take as well. I do love that one shot where Eastwood is going to throw the machete into some guy. I'm going to give that a close-up when it happens. Yeah, this is such a groundbreaking Western. I mean, there was not a Western like this, that was made before it. I mean, there were some Westerns that have obviously had a little bit more violence than some others, but this one really toned up, the style, the heightened suspense, the action, the violence. Yeah, this bit I'm going to give a close-up. Boom! Machete to the chest, and all in one shot. I love that. This is the moment where I was like, man, this guy is cool. I mean, I already had that moment when he said, my mule don't like people laughing, and he shut down those guys, and he was like, my mistake, 4 coffins. But this moment, I was like, damn, when I first saw this film in 2010 on television, I was like, damn, this is one cool motherfucker. So this is the only kind of good guy thing that he does in this film, is save Marisol and he saved the Holy Family, really. Again, if we go for the subtext. This is the only good thing that he does in the film, really, is he gives her money, and he sends her, the husband, and the kid away. He kind of rescues this family from the clutches of the bad guys. That's the only thing that makes him kind of a hero, because he's more of an anti-hero, of course. But this is the only kind of heroic thing that he does in the film. Of course, the other things that and there's the only bit of reasoning as well. Why did you do this for us? Why? Because I knew someone like you once, and there was no one there to help. Now get moving. Get moving. Get out of here. That's the only bit of background we also get to this character. So it's not much, but it's there at least. It still surprises me when films are released on Christmas Day in America. Yeah, like there's a few examples though. I mean, I guess Christmas is a good time for films, because once you're done with the family dinners, what are you gonna do? Let's go to the movies. Yeah. I mean, I suppose. Yeah, the machete part must have been really shocking for yes, especially that's one of the you would not see that in American Western at this time. That was definitely, you could only see something like that in the spaghetti westerns. Of course, once these became famous internationally, of course, a lot of other westerns would follow suit, but and also try to do the same things. And obviously nowadays, it's tame compared to what you see nowadays, but it's all because of stuff like this. It's kind of funny because I always kind of go towards the early 60s Bond films and these films as kind of like the birth of modern action cinema. If you look at it, the heroes now, or the heroes that we got to know in the 80s and stuff, and the night whatever, they kind of came from Clint Eastwood and Sean Connery, because they had the style, they had the coolness, they had the suaveness, they had the one-liners. I go to those two guys as being like they invented modern action cinema. It started with Bond, with 1962's Dr. No, and went on, of course, all throughout Goldfinger, Thunderball, and stuff. And of course, then we had the Man with No Name trilogy. Those two, the Connery Bond films and the Clint Eastwood Dollars films, for me, they're the birth of the modern action cinema, as we know it. I always thought he should have gave him a. Yes, that is one of he does kind of. They're on foot. It's like, how far are they going to get? Because the Rojos are coming. They're closing in. They're coming pretty fast. But I guess they're not too far from the border because, yeah, Clint's, the introduction to Clint was just him riding his mule. I guess it's a border town, so it's probably just a few miles to the border. So I guess we're not supposed to think about it that much. But I do get that point, yeah, because I felt the same way as well. My dad used to read Western books by a writer named J.T. Edson. He wrote over 100 books, I feel. Oh, that goes on. I feel like that must be a record for one. Yes, I don't think there's a writer that has done that many Western books. Yeah, I think that's definitely a record, yeah. I'm sorry, just got distracted by Morricone's great score for this scene. There we go, not the Baxters, the Rojo's return. And Clint's we're gonna get the first of many, as I call them, spaghetti beatdowns. Now, there's always a scene in these spaghetti westerns where the hero gets put through the ringer, they get beat up or they get tortured, whatever. This is where that all started, coming up right now. I always call that in my own little thing the spaghetti beatdown. Yes, it is epic. Even though, again, this is just the early one. This is the the experimental, the very first time Morricone did one of these kind of scores. Well, again, he did 2 spaghetti western scores before, but this is the first one where we work with Leone and they kind of figured out a style, which would improve with each subsequent film, of course. But still, this is so damn good. I love the soundtrack for this one. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is again a sign of how violent these films were for the time, and the hero just gets beat up. If we fucking get to him, there we go. The hero gets beat up. He's being pushed around. He's being punched, kicked, whatever. And all the guys are just standing around laughing, laughing hysterically, laughing maniacally. Tons of spaghetti western tried to replicate it, but the Leone films, they did it the best in my opinion. Although Django comes close, with Django, famously getting his hands broken and horse hooves walking across his hands and stuff. But there are some cool, inventive spaghetti western torture methods. But I love the simplicity of the. There we go. This guy puts out a cigar on Clint Eastwood's hand. He pours some tequila over him, and then I think he throws some salt in him as well. Clint fights back a little bit. I do love the brutality of these beat-up scenes. These are brutal. Again, it's something you would only see in spaghetti westerns. Matthew saying these Clint Eastwood movies got great soundtracks. Yes, the good, the bad, the ugly. Yes, definitely. We're gonna get there, but that has to be the most epic soundtrack as well. Yeah. I mean, again, there's quite a bit of blood in this scene. It's not picking up there on the TV, but again, we did not have any blood scripts earlier when the guy was being or the people were being machine gunned, but now we do have some blood and stuff here from Clint Eastwood's mouth, and especially the facial damage, the makeup to his face, post this beat up scene. It's quite well done for the time, I must say. Yeah, Clint really gets put through the ringer here in this scene. I feel like I say this all the time, but I thought Ennio Morricone would live forever. He always seemed old to me. Yeah, I wish. Yeah, I wish he would have lived forever. I mean, he's my favorite composer, and I don't mean just movie composers. I'm talking about Mozart. I'm talking about I'm talking about composers all around. There is no one better than Morricone for me. I listened to these CDs, and I got that shelf there. Those are all my CDs. A lot of them are Ennio Morricone. I listen to Morricone CDs pretty much every day. I listen to his music as other people would listen to pop music. So yeah. Oh, I love this bit with the barrel. There goes Mario Brega. Now Mario Brega always gets a great death scene in these films. not as great in the second one, to be fair. In the second one, it's kind of an underwhelming death scene for him, but in this one, he gets crushed by a barrel. Of course, in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, he gets thrown from a train and gets his head smashed against a rock, so yeah. But that's a cool bit with the barrel rolling down. And of course, this is going to be Clint Eastwood's escape. I'm going to need a refill in a bit. Morricone score for The Mission is stupid. That is a great score. Yes, that is a fantastic score, The Mission. I mean, there's so many. It's almost hard to choose a favorite. Although I do have a favorite, but it's almost hard to choose a favorite because all of the Morricone scenes are Morricone scores are just chef's kiss. Yeah, that's true. There's some blood there, and also there's some irony with that because we're going to get a line coming up in the next scene where somebody says, "I hope you and your brothers die spitting blood," and lo and behold, at the end they actually do spit blood as they die. So yeah, at least one of them does. Ah, hey, Stacy is here. Hi, Stacy. Thanks. Hello. Enjoyed if I send out. Okay, no worries. Thank you, Stacy, for being there. Yeah, that's a pretty gory scene. Go up and look at the loft. Take a look behind the barrels. I want to find that filthy Americano. There we go, a little bit of fire. I mean, again, for this pretty much being a kind of low budget film, they did have the effects to have some good fire scenes, and there's going to be an explosion in a bit as well. The bell ringer is going at it in the film, not the bell ringer that I have to deal with. Yeah, pretty gory scene. I love the idea of the bartender doing. Yes, it's a good bit there. It's again, that's coming up, but that is a good bit by Jose Calvo. It's a good finale. I mean, that's another thing about these Leone. They all have great finales. I mean, this one is probably the most simplistic of all the ones. They would get more complicated as they went on, of course, the finales. But this one has a great finale as well between, of course, Eastwood and Volante, and then the little stinger afterwards, and again, just the final bit. I love that bit where Eastwood is just below the boards, and yeah, Volante's on top. This is a great suspenseful escape sequence as well. This is. I just love everything about this one. Can you tell? Let's see. Stacey said, "I love your punch." Oh, thank you. Yes, I love it as well. Thank you. Appreciate it. Blood Jerky is the best Western screenplay I've read in 22 years of reading screenplays every day. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. It's a lot like The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance meets The Bank Job and Unforgiven. Oh, I'll have to give it a read then. That's awesome. I love the sound of that. I love all of the films mentioned there. So yeah, it's a great scene. Now this is a dark scene. Yeah, it's coming up quite clear on the thing there, but. Sonny Barger 81 MC is there. Hey, Sonny, how's it going? Thank you for being there. Yeah. Oh, whoever dubbed Esteban Rojo, he has a real sadistic laugh, and he kind of goes like, it's almost like the Joker, a little bit. The guy has a really, it gets under your skin. You really want this guy to get it, and spoilers, he does. Yeah, that's one of the things that's always, so great about these one. The villains are just so maniacal. The villains are so sadistic. They laugh like, they just belly laugh when people get beat up and stuff. It's like you really want these villains to get it. It's like these. I love it. That's why I love these spaghetti westerns so much. Such despicable villains, but also fun to watch. Charismatic villains as well. It's yeah. villains you love to hate, I guess. It's probably the best description. Now this bit was originally cut from the original DVD that I had. It's more extended here, where the bartender gets one final, punch with the rifle. That's for being his friend. That bit was actually not in the DVD that I had of it. That wasn't the German Blu-ray. That's where I first was like, hey, it's extended. And of course, Arrow Video has carried that over. This is the most uncut and most extended version of the film. Yeah, that bit was missing from my DVD, but now it's finally back here. Now, as it is afternoon for me, it's now 2:17 p.m. You might hear a lot of background noises from outside, because I can't help it. It's a Sunday afternoon. People are out and about, and dogs are walking the streets, and fucking people going by on mopeds. No, that was a bike. That was a bike. So I can't help it if you guys do hear some stuff on in the background, but. I didn't actually talk about him. Yeah, the coffin maker, Perry Perro. I did not actually talk about him, played by Austrian actor Joseph Egger. Now, he passed away, I guess, in '65, because he would also appear in For a Few Dollars More. I think those are his only Euro-Western credits, is Fistful of Dollars and For a Few Dollars More, the old coffin maker here. And then he passed away in '65. But no, he's great, and he's a great kooky, character in this one. He's even more kookier in the second one. But I do love him in this one. I love especially his moment coming up in the mine sequence where he brings Clint his gun. I think his gun and his gun belt and some dynamite, and he says, "He's dynamite." I love that bit when he says that. Here we have, speaking of dynamite, here we have some cool special effects going on here with the fire trail here, and then a nice little explosion. This was on special edition CED. What's is that, Laserdisc? What's CED? That's for being his friend. Just watched a black and white, excuse me, crime noir film, Public Enemy with Charles Bronson. I've heard of that, but I haven't seen it. That's awesome. I'll have to check that out as well. There we go, nice little explosion. Oh, that was a close-up of Benito Stefanelli right there. Nice little explosion, and there's going to be some more fire and stuff happening here. This is again another brutal scene that's coming, pretty much like the massacre of the Baxter family. Oh, that's a close-up of Aldo Sambrel. Again, we're going to get into Aldo Sambrel's biography when we get to a few dollars more, because he's a much bigger presence in that film. Yes, it's massacre time. Massacre time. Not full cheese massacre time, but no, this is pretty much the massacre of the Baxter family coming up right here, because they all got shot by the Rojo gang. This is, again, when I first saw this, I was like, "Whoa, this is dark. This is, there we go, a little bit of fire, explosions, guy going by on a fucking moped." Just try to find my CD for the mission score, but it's vanished in my terrible filing system. I've got all my CDs up there. Yeah. Most of them. There's also some films there, but mostly that's CDs up there. CD is to vinyl record, but there you go. Okay. So it's kind of like a laser disc then, kind of. Yeah. Yeah, here these people are surrendering and they're still being shut down brutally. Like, again, this is the brutality of the Italian West. It's like, we don't care if you're surrendering, you're still gonna get shot. And some great shot, composition with the guys in the back, in the foreground, and then great depth within the lens. Because these films were shot on Technoscope format, so that allowed these filmmakers to get really creative with the shot compositions and like the field of depth and stuff, or depth of field, I should say. Because Technoscope, even though Technoscope was kind of more like a cheaper format, it did really allow filmmakers, if they were creative enough, and Sergio Leone certainly was. It allowed filmmakers to really get creative with the shot compositions. A lot of, we'll see that especially in For a Few Dollars More, where there's characters in the foreground, stuff happening in the background. It's like, yeah. But yeah, this is brutal. Again, put yourself in 1964, watching this. You've watched, goody two shoes American westerns with the Duke. Pilgrim. You watch the Duke. You watch, man's gotta do what a man's gotta do, and then you watch this. This is vicious. This is violent. This is brutal. Yeah. Just put yourself in 1964, and it's like, wow. Even today, I'm still like, even now, I'm watching this. I'm like, it's a lot. It's a lot. All these people just being massacred here. Don't worry about outside. No, it's not like police. Well, sometimes it could be a police siren, but well, yeah, there's not people screaming yet. Yeah, exactly. You definitely would not see this scene in an American Western around this time. No. Again, you would have John Wayne. I'm not shooting people in the back. You got John Wayne. The honorable cowboy, and especially here, this part here where the Ramon, don't shoot, we're coming out, but they're still gonna shoot, obviously. Yes, this is a good point by Sonny. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly was a prequel to the other films because Clint did not have to punch until the end. Yes, and also this film and also For a Few Dollars More, they take place well after the Civil War. Because obviously in For a Few Dollars More, you got Colonel Mortimer, who was a former colonel from the army from the Civil War. And this one, it takes place in the late 1800s, I guess 1890 or stuff, something like that. So well after the Civil War. So that's another indicator of, again, the Civil War setting. But yeah, that's a good point. He does not pick up the poncho in the third one until right at the very end. So yeah, people have said that pretty much if you do want to watch these in kind of a chronological order, you should start with The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, then For a Few Dollars More, and then Fistful of Dollars. I think just in reverse order. Yeah, and now even she's going to get it. But not by Ramon, but it's Esteban that shoots her, the woman. Consuela Baxter, this character's name. Murderous. And she is going to say something that's going to come true at the end of the film. I hope you rot in hell. I hope you and your brothers die spitting blood. Yeah, there it is. Curse you for this. But, yeah, even she got shot by Esteban. I do like the look that Gian Maria Volante gives him. It's like, shit, even I would not have gone that far. Because, yeah, Ramon kind of like, damn, that's cool. Yeah. So yeah, the entire Baxter family is just massacred. Yes, that is a good call. Maybe it's one of the first prequels. Yeah, it's a very good point. Because yeah, this film was actually, the original opening for this film was actually supposed to be Clint kicking a poor Mexican peasant into the river and stealing the Mexican peasant's poncho. That was going to be the opening. We were going to see where we got the poncho in the beginning of this film. That got reworked in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly at the end, where he picks up the poncho from a dead soldier. But yeah, this film was originally supposed to enter or open with Clint Eastwood picking up his poncho. There's Clint doing some target practice, trying to regain his strength. Yeah, this is kind of like the recovery montage. I guess this is kind of like one of the first montages, sort of passing of time. Because yeah, Clint shoots and then he makes the thing, and then it's kind of like supposed to be like a passage of time. It's a few days or weeks that he's in this mine shaft here. Excuse me. The earliest prequel I always think was Temple of Doom. Yeah, that's a good point. That is technically a sequel to Raiders. Yeah, even though I do always watch them in release order. I always watch Raiders first, Temple of Doom, and then Last Crusade as the complete trilogy. And yes, it is the complete trilogy. There's no fourth, there's no fifth, so I don't know what you're talking about. There's no Temple, there's no Crystal Skull and Dial of Destiny. They don't exist. It's like fairy dust. It doesn't exist. Yeah, there's a little montage passing of time. But no, that's a good point about Temple of Doom. Rod Steiger and James Coburn in Fistful. Yes, that they are great. That's a great film. And they're great in that film. I love Rod Steiger in that film. You're kind of doing like a Tony Montana impression before Tony Montana was a thing. Do you understand? That's yeah, he's kind of like that. Now here's Clint. He just, is filing a metal plate. This metal plate is going to come in the play within a few minutes. Of course, those who've seen the film will know what I'm talking about. Even those who have seen Back to the Future 3 will know what I'm talking about. But now here's Perry Pero bringing the supplies that Joe will need. Oh, because yeah, the man with no name, he does have a name in all three of these films. In this one, he's called Joe. So yeah, the man with no name, nah, not happening. He does have a name in all three films. But no, here he's bringing Joe the supplies that he's going to need for the finale. In Italian, they named the film The Good, the Ugly. Yes, Il Buono, Il Brutto, Il Cattivo is the Italian title, which it does actually translate to The Good, the Ugly, and the Bad. But when it came time to have the film in the English language, they were like, well, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly rolls off the tongue much better than The Good, the Ugly, and the Bad. So they just made that swap there. That's why if you watch the trailer for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, when they get to Lee Van Cleef, they will say the ugly. Or I think when you get to Eli Wallach, they will say the bad. So, but yeah, that was just because The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly rolls off the tongue much better. Just saw Rod Steiger with Humphrey Bogart in a boxing movie from the 50s, The Harder They Fall. I've heard that. I've heard that film. I still have to check that out. Actually, I've heard that film. I heard it's supposed to be very, very good. Here's the. I'm gonna put that up as well. Here's the bit. It's dynamite. I stole it from the Rojos. Now it seems to me the moment's come for you to light the fuse and send it back to them. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's a good performance. I love. It's an old coot, isn't it? It's yeah. It's an endearing character. Perry Pero. I'll have to check out Horror They Fall. Oh, it's Humphrey Bogart's last film as well. I love a boxing film. We'll have to check that out. Yes, I love boxing, as people know. So yeah, I'll have to check that out as well, for sure. Yeah. Poor Silvanito is hanging from the post, being tortured. But here comes Clint Eastwood with a epic grand finale entrance. Coming up here in a bit. Yeah, and just before they get the chance to use the whip on old poor Silvanito, explosion. Huge cloud of dust. And then the epic Morricone score, the trumpet theme. I'll have to up the volume a little bit. I have to hear the soundtrack. With this scene, a legend was born, and his name is Clint Eastwood. This scene, I mean, the entire film has really been a showcase for, like, look at this guy, he's awesome. This guy's badass. This scene right here, I think cemented it for sure. This is chef's kiss. This is the end-all scene of this film. This is fantastic. Yes, there we go. That's exactly what Mike Barrett says as well. I love Eastwood's entrance here. One of the greatest scenes in film history. Absolutely. Look at him just standing there. The winds, the poncho is going in all directions. Morricone's score swells up to a crescendo. Perfectly punctuated by Morricone's score. This scene here, it's Close-up of the boots and the spurs. Again, those great close-ups that Leone does. He does not do just facial close-ups. He does close-ups of everything fantastically well. So I do love Maria Volante's like loading of the pistol of the rifle just by going like that, kind of like the Schwarzenegger rotating flip thing from Terminator 2, but not quite as rotatey. Love the car going by behind Tuco and the Good. I'll have to keep an eye. I do know about a car that you can spot in the background in the second film, but yeah. Gringo. Favorite top 5 boxers: Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Mike Tyson. Just the classics, really. Sugar Ray Leonard. Roy Jones Jr. I do like Roy Jones. I mean, I know I'm supposed to be talking over these things and give it commentary, but I'm in church right now. You know, church is in session. Kill a man, you aim for the heart. Your own words, Ramon. Now this scene, of course, again, if you've seen Back to the Future Part 3, you will know this scene, and you will also know that Back to the Future Part 3 kind of recycled this a little bit as well. Or Marty McFly recycled it on the basis of seeing this. Don't forget the heart. Aim for the heart or you'll never stop me. I do love how Clint also play acts, you know, being dead in between the shots and stuff. And then he gets up. It's like the Terminator. He just gets up. But there's a reason why he's acting like the Terminator. I do love that great reveal here. Now he's out of bullets, and then Pancho goes up. Zoom in. I love that zoom in. And yeah, metal plate. You know, I love how he flips the Pancho up as well. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually. There we go. And then, oh, I love the high pitched thing here, creating tension. Squinting. Oh yeah, here we go. There we go. Oh shit, there we go. The dog running in the foreground, the cemetery scene. Yeah, that was very spontaneous. Yeah, you were very correct about that. Ken Norton is slowly becoming one of my favorite. Yeah, Ken Norton is a great boxer. Yeah, he was amazing and seemed like he did it by accident. Yeah, I do like Ken Norton as well. Raging Bull, Jake LaMotta. Yeah. Felt like I was one of the few people that defended Back to the Future 3 for years. Everyone seemed to prefer the first one. I love Back to the Future 3, man. It's great. I loved all 3 of them, but yeah, that's not a kind of perfect trilogy, kind of like these 3 films are. But there we go. Shoot down Sylvan Hill. When a man with a 45 means a man with a rifle, he said that the man with the pistol is a dead man. Let's see if that's true. Go ahead, load up and shoot. I thought he was falling backwards because of the impact of the bullets. Yeah, but he also kind of like play acts like it takes a while before he gets up, right? Yeah. But obviously the impact of the bullets will definitely have something to do with it. If you're gonna shoot, don't talk. Yes, that definitely was an ad-lib by Eli. Yeah. There we go. And yes, Eastwood proves that you are indeed faster loading a revolver than you are a rifle. Although, you know, Clint Eastwood is faster anyway. Bam. And yes, as Ramon here is dying, he is spitting blood from the mouth. So Consuela Baxter did kind of jinx him, I guess, because yeah, she was like, "I hope you and your brothers die spitting blood," and he does end up dying while spitting blood. I love the rotating camera as well. Kind of point of view shot. Here comes a double-barreled shotgun. Watch out, Clint. There's still one left. But this is what Mike Barrett said earlier. This is where Silvanito comes in. And you do have some blood here. The guy gets shot. That's actually, again, that's pretty vicious for 1964, you know. And now, hey, listen, Joe. Joe. So he's definitely called Joe, I think. At least that's what the coffin maker calls him. I must have said this before, but one of my favorite memories is me and my mate drinking in a bowling alley trying to work out if horses could pull a DeLorean to 88 miles per hour. We even used calculators. That's not a bad point. Yeah, that's that's a lot of horsepower, literally. Here's the crazy bell ringer again. Ding 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 dong. And now we have Clint's final goodbye. You don't want to be here when they get it, eh? You mean Mexican government on one side, maybe the American government on the other side, and me right smack in the middle? Too dangerous. Adios. Yes, right at the end credits, Sean. We'll be back in 40 minutes for a few dollars more, though. I don't think Sergio Leone had a crane to use, but this is obviously a little bit of a crane shot here at the end, so maybe he somehow got his hands on one for this one shot. But yes, we have reached the end of Fistful of Dollars. This is the final shot. With the wit. Fucking Finn. There you go. I had to blow up the bridge twice in the Good, the Bad, Young. So yes. We're blowing through all the Good, the Bad, Young trivia. We'll save it for later. I'll blame Gareth. Can't blame Gareth for everything. There we go. The Our Video menu there. Let's remove that from the stage. And now we do have about 10 minutes of a afterthoughts or after discussion before we hit the intermission. So guess now is the time to catch up with everyone a little bit. So that was a Fistful of Dollars. Let me actually lower the volume now on the a Fistful of Dollars finished. So that's the first film of 3. Oh, hang on. Then I would say this is the weakest of the 3, but still a fantastic film. Objectively speaking, yeah, it's definitely the lowest budget. It's the most a lot of limitations that they had for making this film. Subjectively, this is my second favorite of the trilogy. My subjective least favorite is actually the second film, but we're gonna get there. I do love all 3 of them. That's not saying much when I say one is my least favorite. But I would watch this over for a few dollars more myself. But again, that's just my opinion. I just love the simplicity of this film. It's just Clint. He's alone. He's the stranger. I just love the simplicity of the story. For a few dollars more is great, though. It's great. Enjoyed that. Just going to try and find the mission CD. Yes, the mission CD, and yeah, we do have the intermission coming up soon. Great stream, bro. This was Russell. I'm sorry, I didn't recognize the name, Russell. Hey, Russell. Now I recognize it. Yeah. Well, when the intermission starts. That's a good point, actually. I'm gonna prepare for the next stream already. I'm gonna swap discs. I'm gonna put the For Few Dollars More disc in. But yeah, Fistful of Dollars. It's It's the first of its kind, as the trailer guy said in the trailer for the film. It's not the last. So, I think this is definitely. Hang on. Which film do you think you've seen the most, and is it a Western? The film I've seen the most is Scarface. That's not a Western, but the film I've seen the most after that is, which is Once Upon a Time in the West, and then probably The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and then these two. Rango is an underrated Western. So, I've not actually seen that. I've not seen that. Hang on. We got For a Few Dollars More ready and queued up for later, for in 30 minutes. Hang on just a second, guys. There we go. So yeah, that was a Fistful of Dollars. Too many editions. What am I looking for? That's what I'm looking for. Coming up next, For a Few Dollars More. With even more trivia, because we got more characters in and For a Few Dollars More. We got Klaus Kinski, among others, in the second one, so we're going to definitely talk some Kinski. Anyway, we're still in the after thing discussion. Now, here's a hard one, Jeff. High Plains Drift or Josie Wells? That is tough. I'm leaning more towards High Plains Drifter, but I love Josie Wells. Just for now, I'm going to say High Plains Drifter. Yes, of course. It's. I think it is a long night for you, Russell. So yeah, thanks for being here. And yes, maybe we'll see you later. We'll be here a while. So yeah, have a good one and catch up on the old sleep there. That's important. It's. Yeah. I do know it's an animated film. Yeah. Rango. Yeah, Dave loves Rango. Josie Wells for Russell. Yeah, no worries. We'll get through it. I have the Kino 4Ks. They look pretty good. I have heard that the Kinos are good, but by all accounts, the Arrow videos are the definitive versions. But yeah, the Kinos I've heard are pretty good as well. Yeah, there you go. Kino 4Ks are okay, but grab the Arrow video 4Ks. They are better. Yeah. That's the general consensus anyway. I mean, they're fantastic editions. I mean, there's still stuff to be released this year, but so far, I gotta be honest, release of the year from me is the Dollars trilogy by Arrow Video. Especially the effort that they put on The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, because the amount of stuff that comes on here. You can pretty much choose like 6 different versions of the film to watch. I mean, that's about as definitive as it gets. I don't know. I think it's fantastic. The Kino 4K, because they come with the Blu-rays, and yeah, Arrow does not come with the Blu. That is true. Yeah. Arrow just. Yeah. I wish Arrow would get the license for docu-soccer. I wish that they would get Once Upon a Time in the West. And hell, let's complete it. Give them the license for Once Upon a Time in America as well. So we get the definitive editions of all Leone films. I would love that. How many shops still sell 4K discs in the Netherlands, or do you get them from the net? Well, most of my purchases are online, but yes, there are still a few, very few retail shops as well. Not many. Like our video 4K of Good to Bad includes, yes, Sad Hill on Earth, which I watched recently again. I rewatched that, which is, it's a good documentary. I love the effort by the fans that, you know, they actually went through restoring, you know, the entire cemetery and rebuilding it and stuff. Yeah, it's fantastic. Might pick up the Arrow Blu-rays, as Mike Barrett says. I don't have a 4K player. Hey, I don't either, technically. I got a PS5. I've heard it's not the best way to watch 4Ks, but yeah, it's good enough for me at the moment. I mean, I probably will get a dedicated 4K player at some point, but for now, I'm very, very happy with my PS5. It plays them in great quality and stuff, so I'm not complaining. But I've heard that it's not the greatest way to watch 4Ks, or it does good enough, but yeah, not to the level that a dedicated player would. Anyway, let's remove the, there we go, the television fully. Oh yeah, I'm not the only one. My PS5 is a 4K player as well. That's what Sean says. Yeah, and Dave also uses his PS5. Yeah, PS5 plays 4Ks. PS5 is a 4K disc formatted player, I guess, you know. Yes, that's, we just watched this on the PS5, so there you go. Anyway, so yeah, Fistful of Dollars. It's the first motion picture of its kind. As the trailer guy said, it's not the last. Obviously, we're gonna find that out in about 30 minutes, where we get to for a few dollars more. We're gonna have a lot more to talk about. I give Fistful of Dollars a solid 8.5 out of 10. Let's give it 8.5 cowboy hats out of 10. The scores will definitely improve for the films. This is a very entertaining, I would say this is the more easily consumable film of the trilogy, because yeah, this is the shortest one. It's not as lengthy and you know, stuff as the other two, which again I don't mind. And The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, I can watch that for 5 hours if I had to. If that was 5 hours, I would easily watch it. But yeah, I guess Fistful is the more easy to consume for most people, and yeah. I don't know, it's just a damn entertaining film. Again, like I said earlier, I love the simplicity of it. I love the fact that it was the trendsetter. Pretty much all spaghetti westerns followed suit after. It's, yeah, 8.5 cowboy hats is what I give it. So it's, yeah. Anyway. First thing I did on my day PS5. Hey, Ramon, just at the end of the stream. Hey, Ramon. He just made it to the final bits here. Stacy loves these, and 8 would be the score for Sean as well. There you go. First thing he did on PS5, Dave, was watch Citizen K on 4K. There you go. That's an awesome thing to. Awesome first 4K to watch, yeah. There's not, yeah, there you go. There's not too much physical media available in Netherlands, certainly not in shops. Yes, there's really not too much anymore. There used to be more, but sadly it's kind of fading out. I don't think the jump from Blu-ray to 4K is as good as the jump. I do agree there, yeah. But still, just for that added detail that 4K does deliver, especially for these films. Again, because I come also from like the era of DVDs for these, it's, for me, it's noticeable. But yeah, I do agree that the jump from DVD to Blu-ray was massive, and from Blu-ray to 4K, it's not as massive, but it's still a little bit of a jump, if that makes sense. Yes, Unforgiven. No, that's all subjective, Mike. Yeah. Unforgiven. Yes, I do have a 4K of Unforgiven as well. Yeah, that looks great. Ramon says first movie is my least favorite of the trilogy. That's why I arrived late. Well, yeah, no worries. Again, that's all subjective. For me, I do prefer this over the one that's coming up. So, you know, again, that's to each their own. Anyway, with that, I will say we are going to wrap up this stream. So I will see you in about 30 minutes, 35 minutes for a few dollars more. So we do have an outro to play again of... holy shit, what's happening? Ooh, something happened. Oh, there we go. We do have an outro to play. Yes, it's set. Okay, I was just checking if I set the outro. Excuse me. I gotta get some water. I gotta get some more refreshments. Hang on. Okay, there you go. That sounds like a future purchase, Sean. Oh, that's for Unforgiven. Yeah, I definitely recommend Unforgiven on 4K. Good to Banyagi Ono rental VHS tape costing me €35. Bloody hell. Yeah. Yes, indeed. I will see you all soon within, again, 30 to 35 minutes. So it's intermission time before we go to for a few dollars more, where we're going to get Clint Eastwood again alongside Lee Van Cleef, Gian Maria Volante again, Klaus Kinski, Aldo Sambrell. We're going to see a lot of the same faces we saw in the first film. They're all coming back. So I will see you all in about 30 minutes. So adios, so long for now, and we'll see you soon. Gotta hit the right button. So anyway, here we go. Outro in 3, 2, 1. So we'll see you in 30 minutes, guys.
The man with no name. Danger fits him like a tight black glove. He is perhaps the most dangerous man who ever lived.
Get 3 coffins ready.
Played by Clint Eastwood. He's going to trigger a whole new style in adventure. A Fistful of Dollars is the first motion picture of its kind. It won't be the last.